Hey y'all, happy Sunday and welcome to this week's live Q&A session. This is the portion of the show where we allow YouTube to send out notifications that we're going live. If you're watching this live Q&A on replay, please scrub ahead until this graphic disappears and the actual show begins. If you're watching live and you have any comments or questions, please go ahead and put them in the live chat. But for now, grab a beverage, sit back, and relax while the countdown timer does its thing. Then we'll get started. Hey y'all, happy Monday? No, it's Sunday. I'm a day ahead. That or I'm a week behind. One of the 12. Anyhow, this too shall pass. Happy Sunday, everybody. Hope everybody is doing well. getting better every day. Little by little, things are getting better and better. Thought I was having a secondary infection of the shingles, but it turns out I was wrong. I was just having a bad day. That's all. This too shall pass. Almost there. I'm almost there. Shoo. It's been 11 months. It needs to be almost there. Anyhow, enough with that. Today, I had a request via a comment on last week's live stream asking about adjusting the spacing between letters, aka kerning, and adjusting spacing between lines and placement, just overall and in general, placement of text and getting the result that you want. And that's going to be the topic for today. I've got something semi sort of prepared here where we're going to go through it, however. But before we get into that at all, I want to say hello and thank you to my friend Steve over at harneilmedia.com. Now, I know some of you may be tired of hearing about this, but I'm going to keep preaching the gospel of Harneil Media until one of two things happen. One, Steve tells me to knock it off, or two, the time has come for either of us. But anyway, regardless, I'm going to try to encourage you, if you're even thinking about the idea of a website, just toying with it. Maybe your business is picking up, or maybe it's not picking up fast enough. Maybe you want to try to participate in some of the affiliate programs like Amazon or eBay or any of the other affiliate programs. Most of them are going to require you to have a website as a way of proving the legitimacy of your business. And that's one of the things that a website will do for you, is give you and your brand legitimacy. I'm just going to say it straight up front. The only person I'm ever going to recommend is going to be Steve over at Harneil Media. The reasons are too numerous to mention, but a few of them are: he's very motivated. He's very good at what he does. He's incredibly competitively priced, and you're going to get 100% personalized service. When you deal with Harneil Media, you deal with Steve. You don't deal with some minion off in a call center somewhere working for an hourly wage that you're never going to speak to again. You're dealing with Steve, and he will take care of you. If you're looking to start a web store so you can offer your products or services to the public at large, he can take care of it. If maybe you're thinking of designing some merch, some T-shirts, baseball caps, whether they have anything to do with your business or not, if you just like T-shirts and you want to put slogans on T-shirts, he can make it happen. He'll hook you up with a print-on-demand company that'll take care of inventory. They'll take care of collecting taxes and charging appropriate shipping. They'll do all of that. You just let the order come in, and they handle the rest of it. So the rest of us, the rest of it. So do yourself a favor. If you're even thinking about the idea, maybe I need a website, get over to harneilmedia.com. You'll find a link to Harneil Media in the description of this live stream and every other video and live stream on this channel. It's that way for a reason. Head over to harneilmedia.com, click that contact us link, and shoot him a message. Let him know what you're looking for. He'll work with you. He's good at what he does, and because that's all that he does. He doesn't have 15 irons in the fire. He has time for you. He'll talk with you. So thank you for everything you do, Steve. I appreciate it more than you'll ever know. Check him out, harneilmedia.com, sponsor of Mark Lindsay CNC.com. The topic for today is going to be working with text Knock it off? You want me to knock it off? I'll knock it off. No, I won't. I refuse. Anyhow, the topic today is text and working with text once you have the rest of your design figured out, or maybe just, you're getting started with the text. That too is doable. Uh, what I'm going to talk about specifically is placement, alignment, and spacing, because that's what the question for me was most concerned with. And again, I get my topic suggestions from y'all. So leave me a comment, or those of you who are channel members and you have my all my contact information, shoot me an email, smoke signals, whatever. But for everybody, leave a comment in one of these live streams and I will address it. Okay. Let's get over into, I'm going to do this in VCarve Pro just to show that it can be done in VCarve Pro, and there's nothing Aspire related in what I'm getting to talk about. So I've got a project set up here. It is 16 inches by 11 and a quarter inches, and I chose that because 11 and a quarter inches in width is the nominal size of what we call a 1 by 12. So I have gone down to, in my case, Lowe's, and I purchased an 8-foot 1 by 12 select pine, which is, it's not construction lumber. It's kiln dried. It is, the select pine is not full of knots. It's a good straight grain piece of wood to work with. And I find the most popular size of sign will fit in a 16-inch long piece of that 1 by 12. And I don't remember how many pieces, how many blanks you can get out of a 8-foot piece, but you can get several with minimal waste. So the rest of my setup is basically personal to me. I've got set up on standard modeling resolution simply because I'm not putting any 3D models in this. And for layout purposes, I've been asked about this too. The XY datum position in the center for layout purposes. Usually, when I go to calculate the toolpaths, I will change that to the bottom left because that's where I set my X, Y, and Z, or my X and Y zeros on the machine. So that's it as far as the job setup is concerned. Butch has a question here. You can find select pine at Lowe's up here. I have to order it special. My local Lowe's carries it. It's not out with the construction lumber. It's over in the in the like where the trims and moldings are, and they have a couple of racks of it there. So, but yeah, it's nice and clear, not a bunch of knots, anything like that. It's pretty cool. So, the panel profile outline I decided to use, you can find over here in clip art. You go into 2D vectors, go into clip art, then go into 2D vectors and scroll down. And this one is panel 28. There are a bunch of different 2D vectors here. I mean, you got an artist palette, you've got hearts, you've got all kinds of stuff in your clip art. So that's the one I selected. I brought it over here, then resized it to what I wanted. And now we're going to work with it. So when we go to add text to a project, there's a couple of ways we can do it. We're going to go over here into the draw text form. And we have two choices up here at the top. We can go with just plain text, or we can go with text in a box. Now, the word box can be misleading. It will follow any shape. Basically what we're working with here is if I put normal text, I can make it any size. We can see my text entry blank is up here. I can grab that and I can drag it down and let's say put it right there in the center. And now whatever I type up here is going to fit within this blue box because that's the text height I have entered. The other choice that I have is I can say text in a box, select the shape, and now it's going to size the text to fit within the bounding box. The bounding box, again, being this imaginary rectangle that fills the maximum X width and maximum Y height. So it's going to size the text to fit within this bounding box. I may still have to adjust it a little bit if some of the text wants to hang over up here, but it gives a better, it automatically sizes the text to fill this box. And as you type, it will, the text will get a little bit smaller. So let's start up here. I'm going to go with text in a box just to, for this demonstration at first. And I'm going to go with, I'm not going to go with Times New Roman. What do I want to do? I want to do something a little bit classier here. Doesn't have to be super class. I'll go with Algerian. And I'll type Mark and Linda. Then I'm going to give it a hard return. And I'm going to type in March 4, comma, 1988. Now you see how that text automatically resized to fit. I've got all my centering. My text alignment is to the center. It automatically sized it to fit within that box. And my margin size out here is set to normal. I can go with no margin and it's going to fill that bounding box. But you see I've got text overhanging my pattern. I can go with a wide margin and that's going to make it a lot smaller. That may be okay, but I think I prefer a normal margin. I want my text nice and large and everything is good. Now is when we can get into, okay, a hard return. A hard return is just tapping the enter key. And a hard return goes back to the typewriter days where you hit the, you whack the lever and it advanced the paper up and it moved the platen all the way over to the left again. Or all the way over to the right so you can start the next line. That's a hard return. It's just basically tapping the enter key. Sorry about that. So now I'm going to go ahead and close this. And there used to be a second icon over here for text. And that was for spacing. Well, that was integrated into the text tool back, I want to say, in version 11.5, or maybe it was 12.0. I want to say 11.5 though, that they got rid of that icon and now everything is done within the text form. You can see my cursor now is an arrow that has a capital T attached to it. But if I come down here and put it in between two characters, it changes to the letter V and the letter A. You can see those two black arrows pointing towards each other. If I click my left mouse button, it moved those letters closer together. if I want to add space between these letters, and now I've overlapped the serifs down here, I need to space them further apart. I can hold down the Shift key and you see those arrows split apart. And now when I click my left mouse button, they separate a little bit. So now I got a little bit more space here. I come over here to the R and the K, and it needs to be separated a little bit. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then I can scoot over, and these need to be spaced apart a little bit more. And maybe one more. Yeah, one more there. And then this one can be moved closer. There we are. That's a little bit better. If I look down here at the 19, these need to be moved closer together. Now, if you want to make friends and influence people, this entire process that I'm going through right now is called kerning. K-E-R-N-I-N-G. That can be here. Let's shift these apart just a little bit. Then I'll scoot back over here. And I need to move that apart a little bit more. Maybe bring those two together. And I think everything else looks nice now. So it's basically going between the characters and either left clicking if you want to move them closer together, or holding down Shift and then clicking if you want to spread them apart. Now, Oz asks, how do you adjust the space between the lines? Well, that is right here in the same tool. If I go between the two lines of text, you'll see it says line, then it has those arrows, and line. And this is all still within the create text form. So now, with those arrows pointing towards one another, I can click and it'll move the bottom line. But notice it'll also change whether your text is still in the center or not. So you'll need to go back and recenter all of your, you'll have to go back and align it again. Now here in between lines again, I hold down Shift and those arrows point away from one another. I can put more space between the lines. Then zoom back out, close it. Now, both VCarve and Aspire remember how you did this. They remember whether your text was created inside the box or just plain text created wherever. Now, you still have a lot of options available to you. Even though I've used both of these lines are in the same font, if I want to change fonts for this bottom line, I have to do something else. I'll get into that in just a second. If I go over here into the Create Text tool, it's blank. But if I click on the text, it remembers. It remembers it was text in a box. It remembers the font. It remembers what I typed. So that's not an issue. And close that. And I'm going to go ahead and center it again. There we go. Now, if I do decide that I want to change the font for this bottom line, but I want to leave that one in the Algerian font, what I can do is I can select the text, then right-click, come up here and go to Text, Break Block into Lines. Click on that, And now I have two separate lines of text. So you can break up, if you, for instance, have copied and pasted a paragraph of text, maybe you're doing the open book project, the open book 3D model. You can break that up into separate lines and adjust the size of the font should you need to. So now I've got this here. I can go select it and go into the draw text. Now it treats it like a normal text object. You can see that there is the bounding box for the text. That blue box there. I can move it separately. I can change the font. Let's go with that one there. And I want to make the text height 3/4 of an inch. So we go 0.75 and it adjusts that. And now I got to go in and check my kerning again because I've changed it. And on a script font, what I want to do is I want to make sure that like the tail of this M is embedded in the A. I want to make sure the tail of the A is embedded in that R. So it needs to come over just slightly. Oops, wrong way. There we go. This one is pretty close to the edge. So I'm going to bring that in. Oops. There we go. And that one's okay. This is just barely connected, so I'm bringing them together a little bit. And there we are. Tighten that up. Okay. Now, the only problem with this is now, because this is a separate line of text from this, I don't get that ability to adjust the difference between the lines. That'll all have to be done in the move and transform mode. So long as this text is selected, I can take this box down below and I can move it up. I can do that. Or I can do it in move and transform mode later on. But they're now treated like individual text lines. If I come up here and I click on this text, it is also normal text. It is no longer sized as text in a box. And there's the bounding box for it. So now they're two different text objects. Now, let me close that so I don't do what I just did again. So now I can come along and I can go into move and transform mode, hold down shift, grab this corner here and bring that up just a little bit. And I'm going to drag this down. I want to make sure this is aligned horizontally. I want to make sure this is aligned horizontally. All right. And now with the script font, because I have these tails intersecting with other letters, I want to weld this together. Kimberly is asking, do you have to scissor out the overlap? And Woody Wan is saying, wouldn't you weld them instead? Yes. Wouldn't you weld the bottom line? You're anticipating the command, as we used to say in the military. That's exactly what I'm going to do. With script fonts, I want to weld those together. The problem with welding, if I do anything over here, I need to convert these to curves because it's a text object. Now, something like welding, let me select the text, and I'm going to come over here to weld. It's going to weld it, but it's also going to convert it to curves. So if you need to do any adjustment, if you need to do any kerning or any other type of whatever that's handled within the text object or draw text tool, do it before you weld, because once you weld them, they're just regular vectors. It's no longer a text object. And as Ellen says, once I weld, I always have to change it. You can still change it. It's just a little bit more of a production than it was when it was a text object. So I've got that selected. I'll come over here and I will weld it. Some objects, such as text or distorted objects, are converted to curves for this operation. Would you like to replace or keep the original objects? All right, you can keep the original text. I would put it on another layer. In fact, that's almost, I mean, it's not mandatory. The software will let you do it. I don't like it because now you've got duplicates, and how are you going to know which one you've selected? I would, if you're going to keep it, go ahead and keep it, but then immediately put it on another layer. Kurt at Crafty Jan says, I put the original text on another layer, then lock that layer and hide it. Yep, that's exactly what I mean. Put the original on a separate layer and just turn it off so it doesn't get modified and it's not in your way. Personally, for this, because it's a one-time thing and I'm not going to use this again, I'll go ahead and I'll replace it so I will no longer have a text object. I'll just replace, and now it's all welded together, and then all those overlaps are gone. So yes, it auto trims the overlapping vectors. But now it's just like any other vector. Note that you have outside vectors and you have inside vectors where these islands are. That's going to leave that. If I V-carve this, it's going to leave this. It's not going to touch it. It's going to leave it alone. If I machine all this away and leave this standing proud, it's going to and leave the text itself alone. So now we can grab that text, hold down Shift, grab all of this, and I can head over and do a V-carve toolpath. Flat depth of 0.1, that's standard for what I do. My go-to is a 90-degree V-bit and an 1/8 inch end mill. That's just how I prefer to do it. Offset and raster is for the end mill only. It will not affect the V-bit at all. I'm just going to leave it the way it is for everything else, and I'll calculate. Following tools produced empty tool paths. This is a common error message. They may not be able to fit anywhere the previous tool could not with their current parameters. This is the tool they're talking about. What this error message means is this 1/8 inch end mill is too big to fit in any of these spaces. So it's not going to create the tool path. We click OK. It went ahead and it created the tool path, but you notice it's in italics and there's a red exclamation point here. That means that there's nothing there. It has no data. We can look by turning it off, turning it back on, there is no change out here. So what I can do is select it, right click, delete this. That's the only Toolpath that actually has any data in it. So I've got my VCarve Toolpath selected. I'm going to change the Toolpath color to black so you can see it. Then we'll preview it. And it worked out just fine. Looks nice, I think, anyway. I do like that Algerian font, and so do most of the folks that I've ever used it with. They prefer it. So, Ellen has that's a good suggestion. Preview it in text because you can modify it to a look you don't like after welding. So yeah, preview it. Preview early, preview often. That's an excellent excellent point. Okay, I'm going to close this. I'm going to go back and I'm going to grab my profile vector. And for my profile, I'm going to add a sculpted edge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here and I'm going to find my point cutting round over bit, 3/8 inch radius. No, I don't like that. I'm going to go, yeah, I'm going to go with my 1/4 inch radius round over bit. And I'm going to grab that. I'm not going to go 1/4 inch deep. I'm going to go 3/8 inch deep. So 0.375. What that's going to do is that's going to force that round over bit to cut deeper than its radius. I'm going to go to the outside of the vector. And that's good enough. I'm going to call this Sculpted Edge. I'm going to calculate that. I'm going to preview that. Okay. Yeah, that's the look I want. I want that. Yes, that's the look I want. All right. Turn the vectors back on. Select this. And close. Now I'm going to do another profile. And I'm going to go the full depth. Z equals, I don't remember how thick my material. Okay, there we go. Now, if I start cutting, it's just going to cut right through this. It's going to cut that edge right off. So what I need to remember is my 1/4 inch radius. I'm going to cut, let me go select the correct end mill. I'm going to go with a 1/4 inch end mill. But I need to remember that this created a 1/4 inch radius out here. So what I want to do is I want to add an allowance offset. And that offset is going to be 1/4 inch. And to the outside, see, now I'm trying to remember if I need to go negative or positive. I'll find out as soon as I do this. Calculate, and I'm right on. Okay, it was a positive offset. So I just compensated for this round over so I don't machine it off. Now we'll preview. And there I've got a nice sculpted edge. I could go with a bigger round over, I think. And I could probably go a little bit deeper than that. I don't remember how much my vertical edge on that round over bit is. But it's just a way to get a little bit more of a decorative edge. I think personally an OG bit would look better, but it serves its purpose. The only issue is if I look here in these corners, especially the inside corners, if I turn my vector back on, I've got this little area where it couldn't get in and follow the vector. Now, turn off the vector, come back out and take a look at it. You might not think that looks bad, all things considered. And if you're happy with it, great. But if you want that sharp corner, you're going to have to come in and do a little bit of hand cutting and a little bit of sanding to get that sharp corner. But still, all in all, it's a pretty decent look. Let me close all this down, shoot back over here, and get back into the 2D view. But ultimately, the manipulation of the text is what the manipulation of the text is what this was all about. Now, looking at it here, over here in the 3D view, when I did the preview, I don't like the space between the K, the ampersand, and the ampersand and the L. I might want to tighten that up a bit. 8 Center is asking, VCarve does open vectors though, right? No. VCarve will not do open vectors. The way VCarving works, for instance, in this case right here, it's going to carve everything on the inside of these vectors and everything here on the inside of this vector. It will not, VCarving will not work with open vectors. So, okay, Butch has a request here. Could you review, if time, setting text vertical? Say you want a welcome sign that is vertical. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we can do that. And I believe you had another question earlier. And it was the same thing. Could I review going vertical? Yes. Okay. We can do that. Do that right now. Here. 8 Center says, well, you could do squares on the edges cutting from the outside if that makes sense. It does make sense. A profile can and will cut open vectors, but not VCarve. Right, it will. And in fact, I did a video. I'm going to write it down. I'll put it in a pinned comment at the top of the comment section as soon as we're done live here. I did a video on how to use a profile toolpath to a profile toolpath and a V-bit to carve open vectors. So let me, let's see, writing myself a note, open vectors. All right, I will put it in a pinned comment at the top of the comment section as soon as we're finished here. Okay. So Butch is asking about vertical text. There are a couple of ways, as our friend Michael Mazalik would say, there are 3 answers. There are several ways of doing that. Let's see here. I'm not going to start a whole new file. I'll just add a sheet. So let's go back to the 2D view. Zoom out here. I'm going to come over into Sheets. Add a new sheet. I'll just call it Sheet 2. That's fine. Double click to go into Sheet 2. So we're using it. Make sure it's selected here. Doesn't matter if it's selected out here or not. You need to make sure it's selected here. And then click Edit. Now I can go into Job Setup for this sheet. It will not affect the other. So we're going to do something vertical. It's a welcome sign for the front door. A lot of those are made in 6-foot tall fence pickets. So let's do that. We're going to go with the width, I believe. Gosh, I want to say they're 5 inches wide and 72 inches long. So that's what we've got. Maybe you don't want it that big. You just want it 4 foot. Let's make it 4 feet just for giggles. 48, since that's 72 is a little bit long. Material surface center standard because there's no 3D content here. Click OK. Now, again, there are a few ways of doing this. The thing about Vectric software that a lot of people don't understand is when you all of these fonts that you see here in the font list, some of them came from the Vectric software. Some of them you may have added by going to like, what's it called? DaFont. There's another one I can't remember the name of, 1001 fonts or something like that. I mean, I remember the days where you would go down to Circuit City or Best Buy or whatever. You could buy DVDs with 30, 40,000 fonts on them. I think we have one. But yes, 1001 fonts. Yes, that's the one. But the way the Vectric software works is it accesses every font on your computer. So if you have something like Photoshop, it accesses those fonts used in Photoshop. If you have a video editing program, it accesses those fonts. If you have any Adobe software, it'll access all those fonts. And now that I'm talking about this, I do not see any of the fonts I wanted to talk about, because I guess I don't have any of that software on my... I have a couple. All right. HP Simplified Hands. If you notice, you'll see the little @ symbol right before HP. That @ symbol means this is a vertical font. It's going to orient itself vertically. Let's pick something here. Well, they all look the same to me. They're Microsoft and MS Gothic. I'll pick MS Gothic just because. So now, if I look, there's my text box there. I'm going to make the text 2 inches tall. But you'll notice it's kind of sideways here. I'm going to type caps lock. Welcome. Now that's not what you're after, is it? But notice it's a vertical font. That's how it's going to be placed. Personally, I see no advantage to using any of the vertical fonts like this when it comes to within the Vectric software. Some other softwares might need that, but I don't see any advantage to it. The reason I say that is because, let me change the font to something that is not got an ampersand. Let's just go with Arial. You can do that yourself. You don't need that vertical font if you want to spin it that way. Tapping the letter 0 on my keyboard twice, now it's vertical. Now, that's not what you meant, is it, Butch? Okay, it's vertical, but it's still sideways. That ain't what he wanted. So let's delete that. And we're going to go into Draw Text. We're not going to use the vertical font. I'm going to make my text 4 inches tall. And I want it centered. Now we get to get creative. we're going to put on caps lock. We're going to type W, hard return, E, hard return, L, hard return, C, hard return, O. You get it. So I've divided them, I've just entered individual letters that are 4 inches tall. Close that. Now I need to center it on my material. It's a little big. It's a little big. My W is too wide. So let's go up here. Hold down Shift. Make it just a little bit smaller. There we are. Now we're inside. And we have it all set up. Again, I'll align it to the center. So we have to do each letter individually. Not bad if you have something like this. A major pain in the you-know-what if you've got a lot of text you want to create vertically. Because you have to do every letter individually as far as I know. Now, Michael may have another way. Because there are 3 answers and I've only showed 2. But that's the only way I have ever done it. That's the only way I know how to do it. There is another way that I'm thinking of right off the top of my head. And that is to, let's select this and delete. Delete. And we'll go back in here and I'll type out welcome, close it. With it selected, I'm going to right click. No, I'm not. I'm going to tap the number 0 on the keyboard to rotate it. And I'm going to center it up. There we go. Then I'm going to right click, convert to vectors, and then rotate each one. 0, oops, wrong way, 9. The number 9 on my keyboard. Twice. And I'll have to come back and space them. Oops. But I can come back and I can rotate each individual vector. Now, when it comes to something like this, you got to be careful. You got to get both, the inside and the outside, because they're not connected. And so, and like so. Now I got to respace them. Well, I can do that a couple of ways as well. I can take my W and move it up just a little bit. Move it straight up. And I can take my E and I can move it straight down. Now I can select all of them and come over here into my alignment tools, because this tool isn't down here. Come into my alignment tools and go down to the bottom here. And I can click on the space selection. And oops, it split those two apart. Hold down. Well, something I should have done before I did that. Control Z. Close this. Group these two so they don't do that. All right. Now select. Go to my alignment tool and space them vertically. Close. I make a box, space them evenly, then center the text in the box. Does that make sense? Yes, that does make sense. That does make sense. The reason I snuck that last one in there, Ellen, is because a lot of folks don't even know what these do. So, 8 Center is asking, is there a hotkey for making a group? Yes. Let me ungroup these using the hotkey to ungroup, which is U. Real original. The letter U. Now, if I want to group them, the letter G to group. Real original. If you ever want to know about hotkeys, 8th Center, go up to Help, Keyboard Shortcuts. Fair warning. I'll click on it. It opens in a browser page. I'll drag it over here. Here's a list of all of the keyboard shortcuts. It's a long list. It's a very long list. We're still scrolling. We're still scrolling. It's a very long list. I don't know how many people, you know what, I'm going to find out. How many, if I went to print this out, just for giggles, print, how many pages would it be? 21 pages. So if you want to print out 21 pages, you can print out all the keyboard shortcuts. Personally, ain't nobody got time for that. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. Ellen did print it. Ain't nobody got time for that, Ellen. That's all right, though. Some people love keyboard shortcuts. Some people don't. So, oh, you knew there's a list. You were testing me. Oh, come on. Come on. Carriage return seems faster. It is, Kimberly. Just doing you're showing that we both took typing in school, because carriage return and hard return are pretty much the same thing. Anyway, the easier way to do it is to go in, the faster way, and just type each letter individually. But again, there are several ways of doing things. And if you have another way that I didn't get to, by all means, you know, it's one of those cases of, if it works for you, you're doing it right. If you get the result you were looking for, and it's done safely, and you are not having problems, you did it right. And it doesn't matter what anybody else says. If you're happy with it, or your client/customer is happy with it, and you did it safely, you didn't damage any material, you didn't damage any equipment, you didn't damage yourself, then you did it right. Who cares how you got there? You know, you got a start point and an end point. You go into the grocery store. Doesn't matter which way you go. It only matters to you. And whichever way works best for you, you did it right. So, working with text is pretty easy when you get into it quite a bit. Butch says he can still type 200 words per minute now. Accuracy is a bit off, though. I wouldn't call them words, but I could probably do 200 groups of characters in a minute. But I don't know that you'd be able to read it. Wouldn't make sense. Anyhow, Butch says, yes, it does. Try to keep up my wife in the grocery store. Well, you know, we all have our own little sections that we prefer. When she's off doing her thing in the produce section, I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to get coffee and grab me a bag of pepperoni. So, snack of champions. Anyway, again, it all comes down to practice. Work with the tools. Get into the text tool. it looks like, it looks complicated. It looks more complicated than it actually is. The anchor point, the X, Y. Well, you can get in there and you can sit. You could put X0 and Y0, and it's going to put the base of that box. That's something else to remember. It's putting the base of the bounding box on your X0, Y0. It's not putting the center of the letter on X0, Y0. Okay? You can do that, or you can grab a hold of that box and you can, you can drag it, or you can just click. And it's going to put the base of that bounding box, that green point, it's going to put, is that blue? That's blue. It's going to put that point wherever you click. Text alignment. Do you want it aligned to the center? Do you want it justified left? Do you want it justified right? Just like a word processor. If I click on left, it's going to where the bottom left corner is on the center. If I go right, the bottom right corner. Do I want bold? Do I want italic? You also have a larger edit window. Oh, good grief. Mark. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate that. All right. Well, anyway, what I was getting at with the text alignment, I tend to go with center, but again, it's putting the center of the base of that bounding box. The first thing we got to do, Kimberly, is get you some standards. And if you already have some, they need to be raised. Just saying. I got a face for radio. So I go X0, I go Y0, and it'll put that box right there. Or I can just click if I want it up here. But remember, it's going to put that blue box, the base of the that box, wherever I click. It's not going to base it on the center of the letter. I can go bold if I want. I can go italic if I want. We also have a larger edit window. This may be too small for you. So you can come out here and you can do a lot of text. If you are copying, say, a paragraph and pasting, you can go through it here. That way you're not kind of looking at itty-bitty characters over here. I don't think, no, you can't make this bigger. I thought maybe you could make it bigger, but you can't. So, working with text is easy, but just like anything else, you have to practice with it. And, it's not that bad. When I first got into VCarve Pro 7.5, I probably wrote my name in so many fonts and previewed V-carvings and played with kerning and played with spacing just until I had it down. And it just comes, again, like anything else, it comes down to practice. So, let's see. With the vertical, are you still able to change the space between the letters? Yes. The only difference being, and that's a good point, Kimberly, let's bring this back over here. And I think, yes, I did convert this to curves. So we'll Control Z. I did play around with it with a bit. Control Z-ing until the cows come home. Went the wrong way there. Okay. Then I think Yes, all right, I'm back to normal text. Oh, that wasn't the one you were talking about. I didn't need to do all that. All right, let's go here. And I'm going to make it 3.5 just so I don't have to keep changing that. There we go. And I'm going to go caps lock on W E L C O M E. All right. And we'll close that. Now I'll center it. There you are. Boom. And I got to go back into my text tool, but now I can go in, but now it's the line. It's no longer this. You're using the line. So if I want to bring those a little bit closer together, I can do that. But because after I've hit a hard return or tapped enter or however you want to say it, each one of these is a line of text. Not a separate line. It's still one text block, but each individual character is treated as a separate line. So there is that, and 3.5 inches was about the right one. Okay. So the short answer to the long question was yes. Exactly. As long as you don't separate it or change it to vectors. Exactly. You can still come back and anyway. How about importing a nice rosette on the top or bottom? Well, we can do that. Let's see here. We got clip art. Let's play with the clip art a bit. We're going to go with decorative. We're going to look for a rosette. Let's see what we've got here. We've got a bunch of different flourishes. There's a nice one. There's a nicer one. Okay, we're going to go with that. And we're going to put that one up here on top. And I need to resize it. So let's hold down shift and bring that down. Yeah, I think that's about the right size there. Okay, I'm going to go back over to the design tab and got it selected. I'm going to mirror the selected objects. I'm going to flip it about the job center. I'm going to create a mirrored copy and I'm going to flip vertical. Bonk. So I come back and there we go. Now, if that's not exactly where I want it, I can move it. That looks good. Yeah, there we go. So now if I go into my 3D view, turn on the vectors, that's what we have. So we're all set. Why would you want an alligator? Okay. In Aspire, you can separate all the letters at the same time by holding down the Shift key and the Alt key at the same time. Is that when you're creating the text? Or, let's see, let's go there. We select. Oh, I see. Can't forget Wally. Well, you know. Yeah, he's on vacation in Florida. Well, but she specifically said rosette. So, you know, I went with the rosette. But yeah, if you wanted an alligator in there, now I can't do Wally because I'm in VCarve. And Wally is an Aspire only model. Sorry. So, all right. Okay, I'm guessing that's about it for questions. It's not a... I have designed some... if you're talking about over here, the prism carving, if you're talking about, I don't want to do that. I got 3D models here. If you're talking about prism carving, I've not done it myself. I've designed 2 projects for other people to carve. But, oh, okay. I get what you mean now, Rocco. Okay. Yes, I will get into that. That's a very good point. Yeah, I have not done it myself, but I have designed projects for other people to cut. Just simply because they didn't have time. But yes, Rocco is correct. Select the text, go back in. And if you want to shorten up the line, hold down the Shift and Alt. Click. No, is it Shift? Is it Alt? I think that just, I don't know if that works vertically. Let me close this and go over to this. And I want to tighten this up, the whole thing. Come on. And we'll go into my text box, Shift Alt. Yes, and that does the entire line. If I hold down just the Alt key, it'll tighten it up, the whole line. Or if I hold down the Shift key, it'll open it up. But it does the entire line. The only thing is, you have to be careful, because like this, my R and K are together, my A and R. So sometimes it works out for you. Not sharing again. All right, let me Control Z that. I apologize, folks. Okay, that was my original. All right. So with it selected, I can go back into my text tool. And I love this kind of thing. Whoops, wrong one. More than you know, Kimberly. Anyhow. Okay, this is my original. Now I'm back in the text tool. If I hold down Alt, I will adjust the spacing within the entire line. It moves all of the individual characters closer together. But now I have a problem because they're all jammed up. The serifs on them are all jammed up. Let me Control Z until I get back to my original. By the same token, if I hold down Shift Alt together, it'll make the entire line longer, increase the space. Now, that will work in certain circumstances. It'll work for certain cases, but pay close attention to like the serifs on your fonts. Are you getting everything too close together? That's a little bit close together. So let me hold down Shift and spread them apart. But again, these need to be tightened up a little bit. There we go. So, but yes, you can get the entire line. Thank you very much for that, Rocco. I totally forgot about that. All right. Anyhow, so yeah, that's it. Now, Mark, you got to click off, otherwise you're going to put up another text box. So yes, you can adjust the spacing of an entire line. Personally, I don't like to do it, and you saw why. because it tightens up everything within the line, whether you wanted it to or not. But yes, you're right. So, oops. Come on. There we go. Man, get my cursor back over here into the right monitor. All right. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Again, this topic was based on a suggestion by a viewer, by a subscriber. I need your suggestions. Let me know what you want to see. This was a great topic to get into because it's not something that I would normally consider talking about. So leave me a comment. Just takes a couple minutes to type out your question. You want to see something demonstrated? If you're tired of seeing something demonstrated, I mean, let me know. I don't know what to do if you don't let me know what you want me to do. This has never been about me. This has always been about you, y'all. Channel members, tomorrow we're going to be working with a two-sided carving, a two-sided 3D carving. And this is by special request from our friend Larry, channel member Larry. And he wanted to go through it, so we're going to go through it. Two-sided 3D carving tomorrow. 5 Pacific, 8 Eastern. You know where to go to find the link. Head over to the membership/posts page here on my YouTube channel. Click on that tab, and we're going to get into it. I'm working on a special guest for next week. We'll see. I'm hoping it happens. We'll see. And if not, I'll figure something else out. There's a couple of other people to talk to. Anyhow, be that as it may, if you don't know what I'm talking about, or if you'd like information on how to become a channel member, somewhere down here, you'll see the join button. I think it's next to the subscribe button. I could be wrong. I don't know. Click on that. Now, you're not joining anything. You're just getting information. Okay? A panel's going to pop up and a video is going to play to tell you all about channel membership. We got a great group of people. You see them here in the chat. They're the ones with the star next to their name, and the channel name is, their name is in green. Great group of folks. Not an ego amongst them. Every one of them is more than willing to help, and they're the best support team a guy could ever ask for. I mean, people come into our private chats, they ask a question, they've got it answered before I see the question. So anyway, we'd love to have you along with us as well. Next Sunday, again, I don't know what I'm going to do. That's up to you. Let me know what you want to see. For the rest, everybody, going through the Rolodex in my brain, making sure I didn't skip a card. No, I don't think that's it. I don't think there's anything else. Nope. Okay. Thank you for spending part of your Sunday with me. I really appreciate it. Now go do something cool. Go, some of you have got the weather for it. Go fire up the barbecue. Have some fun. It's, life's too short to take it seriously 100% of the time. So, have a great Sunday. Thank you very much. Y'all take care.